G'day fellas, and welcome to your first look at Freyr. Freyr is the god of fertility and kingship. Today we're going to be taking a look at a casted game with Freyr, playing up against, I can't remember who they're playing up against, maybe playing up against Kronos. But first, before we get into it, we're just going to take a quick look at what Freyr actually has at their disposal. So, it is a technology and defense focus with a potent defensive god power that gets more powerful with each age advancement. Technologies cost 50% less food, wood, and gold, but take 150% longer to research. Hill forts and hill fort units have 10% damage, or extra damage, and repairing buildings is free. Gatherers and dwarves can also repair. Now, not only does Freyr come with a whole new bonus to their major god powers, but they also come with a whole new raft of minor gods. So the first one is going to be Ulir, the second one is going to be Agar, and the last one is going to be Vidar. They all come with individual god powers and individual bonuses and brand new myth units as well, which we'll be able to see this game. So let's get down, let's get dirty, and let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, spawning in the west of the map. Well, let me get our speed up to speed. Spawning in the west of the map in the color green, playing as Freyr, it's going to be Fitzbro. And on the east of the map, in the color pink, playing as Kronos, it's Joey Bads. Well, a little bit of lag there, apologies. Now, not only am I going to apologize for that little bit of lag right there, but I'm also going to apologize for the state of this cast. You will have definitely noticed by now that my energy is going to be quite a bit lower. Not only that, but my voice is sounding a little bit off. You know, not that beautiful drongo dulcet that you're used to. That's because I'm sick. I am sick, as is obligation when you've got those little ones running around. You do get sick. So yeah, we've the whole family's got it, influenza A. So hopefully we get a nice little recovery. Now, another shout out to the developers for AOM Retold, who hooked me up with this early preview access to actually get a look at Freyr and to show this to you guys without having that annoying thing bouncing around the screen with my name. Yeah, so influenza, it's like the normal flu, but it hit basically 4 hours before I got access. So it was really, really unfortunate timing. There will also probably be a couple of pauses throughout the game. When I say pauses, I mean like little sections where I mute, and that's just because I'm going to be coughing behind the scenes. I do fortunately have with me, not a Red Bull, I have a tea, and a huge shout out to Women Cutie, or Beastie Cutie's wife, as you guys will know her. She got me onto it. So basically, instead of drinking Red Bull, who would have thought if you actually just have some tea, it does wonders for your vocal cords. It makes them feel a lot better. So that's what I'm on today. I've got some strawberry, raspberry, and loganberry. That was what she got me. That was like 2 years ago back at Wallalol. And I've been drinking it ever since whenever I've had any issues. So let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit about Freyr. Now, the first thing is pronunciation. We've obviously got access to Freyr as a minor god. If we take a look at the tech tree, you'll see that Freyr is a minor god. So how do you distinguish Freyr and Freyr? Well, I almost got to the point where I was calling Freyr Fred. That's how much I'm getting down that. So there's a part of me that look, I want to apologize in advance. If I do call him Fred, that's just how it goes. But at least you'll know that I'm talking about Fred and not Freyr. But yeah, there's a subtle distinction between Freyr and Fred. Oh, no, sorry, Freyr and Freyr. Okay, I'm getting myself confused. So that's the first thing out of the way. Second thing out of the way, let's get into those god powers. So the first one you're going to have access to is Gullimbursty. Now, you guys have already seen the pictures of what big bad boy Gullimbursty looks like. He is a man with significant girth. This guy up here. So target one of your town centers or your allies to summon and command Freyr's golden boar, Gullimbursty, to defend the area. Gullimbursty becomes stronger each age. So we can't actually use it. I can click it, but you can't use it. But it does. It's an AoE about this big, maybe a little bit bigger than that you can cast Gullimbursty in. He's a bit of a chonker as well, so he's quite slow. He can move out from the area, but he gets very slow the further away he moves from the area. So need to be very careful with that. But we do now start to see the temple going to be coming up here for Fitzbro. Curious to see how he looks to play this game. Normally, what players, at least from what I've seen so far, when they're looking to play Freyr, is they're looking to move into Ulir early on and go into that Asgardian bastion. So I'll show you exactly what that is. Let's dive into the tech tree. We've already done it. So we've got the Asgardian bastion and we've got Ulir. So this is to target a location to summon a foundation that will materialize into a spectral hill fort when fully constructed. Builds faster in later ages. So normally players have been doing that, picking that up obviously quite early. Dropping it down near a second town center is always really good. So as an example, you've got a second TC. It's a little bit further away. You've got this one at the back as well, but this is quite defensive in the first place. So I'd be more suspicious that Fitzborough's probably going to look to try and take advantage of the front. But we do already see the age up coming through before 4 minutes for the Prometheans over for Joey. We're not too focused on Joey at the moment. Joey's doing his thing on Kronos, and we'll allow him to do that. Just the temple in the base, so not looking to get any rushes out early on. Promethean's going to start moving forward. Meanwhile, we're right on board with Fitzborough as he looks to take the next hunt. There's quite a bit of food out here as well, which even further supports that idea that he's probably going to start moving out here. We do see that temple's online, and he is going to be going into Ulir. So no real surprises there. Excuse me, I just had a little bit of a cough. I'm going to have a little bit of a sip of my my drink here as well. Oh man, that is so good. Oh gosh, I don't know what it does, what it is with tea, but I guess it just like soaks the vocal cords, really like gets in there. It just feels so much better. I remember Marika was telling me, that's Beastie's wife, she was telling me that like Tasteless and Artosis, they only cast with tea. Like that's what they do. Like they're sitting down to cast, they get tea before they drink. So maybe I'm making a little bit of a mistake getting the Red Bull out. But we do now see the age up coming through, the first of the unique units on the field. It's going to be the Draugr. I'm not sure exactly how we pronounce this. Draugr, Draugr. I'm just going to go with Draugr. And we do see, we've also got the Asgardian Hill Fort that's come down. So it comes down at about 50% health. Draugr now going to open up. Nice little volley there. It doesn't look like the damage actually did too much to the second Promethean, mainly the first one. Vil's going to be able to defend this as well. So one thing to note is with the Asgardian Hill Fort, it will build slowly over time. But just like all of your Norse buildings, you can assist it with your military units. So the Vils won't be able to build it. They can technically repair, but this is not repairing, this is constructing. So you'll see that that train time comes down significantly, or that construction time comes down significantly with a couple of Hersias on the Hill Fort. So naturally, the more you've got, the faster it's going to be going up. So with the Hersias out early, they're going to do very well against the Prometheans. So at this stage, there's really not much that Joey can do here, other than look to take a second TC himself. So one thing to note is that when it comes to playing against Freyr, you're probably going to be looking at what we often call the meta. And the easiest way to define that is like the expectation of the way a civilization plays. How is it going to play? You know, if you roll the dice, how many times is it going to go for a fast expand? How many times is it going to go for a fast heroic? How many times is it going to rush you? Those sorts of things. And if I was going to roll the dice against Freyr, I would say that fast expand is definitely the way that it goes. Naturally, it feels that way because it's so easy to defend a fast expand. You can see Fitzborough bringing out the Asgardian Hill Fort here within reach of that settlement. Will look to take this settlement early on. So naturally, that's going to be his choice. And so his opponent, Joey, is going to know that. So if we ride on board with Joey now, you'll see that Joey is taking a second TC, which is definitely the right call here. Moving into a second TC, and I wouldn't even be surprised if he goes for a third TC. Because if you know that your opponent's going to go for 2 TCs, then why not? Why not go for that third TC? Look to try and outscale them. Look to try and outplay them in the long run. Fitzborough now going to scout this out, though. He sees the second TC coming from the opponent. He will note that this is quite a far TC from the main base. Normally, you will take your closer TC first. So perhaps he's thinking a little bit of, well, this is quite a greedy play coming out from Joey. Potentially already going for a third TC here. So he'll have to keep that in the back of his mind. Meanwhile, Fitzborough is now going to start training from the Asgardian Hill Fort, Huskarls. That's right. We'll take a look at the Asgardian Hill Fort. You'll see that it is, if I remember correctly, it is listed. Is it listed? It's not listed in the. It's listed in the Third Age, but they do have access to a unique technology called Yadalir. Ulla gives you his famed Udales, enabling portable rams an age earlier and improving the work speed of all hill forts. So it increases the research work rate and training work rate by 20%, and of course enables the portable ram. So that is correct. You can now get portable rams available to you in the Second Age. So Fitzborough could look to move into this. Now, I will also apologize to you guys. Unfortunately, our UI is mixed up. There's nothing we can do about that. That's just the way that it is. I've reported this to the devs. it obviously isn't a priority at this stage, so apologies for the confusion, but essentially we've got our Kronos player who's on the right of the map over here, and he's on the left of the UI, and then on the right side we've got Fitzbro, who's on the left side of the map. So it's a little bit confusing, so hopefully it's not too much of a bother, but all of these upgrades that you're seeing, these are the upgrades from Kronos, not these ones. These are the upgrades here from Fitzbro playing as Freyr. So a little bit confusing, but we do now start to see quite an army building up here from Fitz. So we've got a few Berserks that are already out, a couple of Hersiers. A Vilcount has started to fall behind significantly, so I think he may have converted a couple of Dwarves. Huskar's now going to be upgraded as well. We do see a unique tech going to be coming through. It's going to be Ring Oath, which is going to be reducing the cost of Asgardian Bastions. So down from 100 to 40 on the reuse. So you can reuse this bad boy very, very early on. And now we start to see a bit of a push coming out from Fitzbro. This is something you've got to be very careful about when you're playing up against Freyr, because you naturally assume that they're going to go for a second TC, and they often do, but that doesn't mean they're going to neglect military. So we already start to see this push coming out. Draga getting some pretty good value in here, idling out villagers, manages to get off one Vil kill as well. Very nice pick up here for Fitzbro. Even though Joey does technically have that villager lead, expect it to fall slowly and steadily as Fitzbro picks up more and more units. So, Draga on the backside. It's also got nice little bit of divine damage. This is really, really nice to have. It means it scales into the late game. So, always something that you want to try and keep in mind when you do get to the Mythic Age. Should you be making this unit? Well, it depends what kind of units your enemy's making. But if they've got lots of armor, it's definitely a smart choice. So inside the base of Joey, doesn't look like there's a whole lot of military units, unfortunately, for him. Why is that? Why is he neglected military? Well, the answer is down here on the south side. It's going to be the second additional town center that he's added in. So up to 3 TCs total now. He's going to be booming like a madman. It's going to be about whether he can survive, whether he can pull the villagers outside of a zone that they're going to be taken out, and just keep them active. That's going to be really key here. I'd love to see him go up to the Heroic Age as well. Look to try and move into Contarius. I think that's going to be really, really useful against this composition. So we'll have to see exactly what the plan is for him. But he's got plenty... Actually, that's Fitzbro. I'm the one getting a little bit confused right now because Fitzbro's on this side. But there's plenty of resources in the bank here for Fitzbro. He can look to go into the Heroic Age if he pleases. Alternatively, he can look to stay in the classical age, just simply because he does have access to that technology. We do see it coming through now. It's going to be Yadalir. Give me a sec. I'm just going to take a drink here of my tea. All right, we're back. We're back. Oh, geez, I tell you what. Had to have a bit of a cough there as well. Sorry. Apologies. I'm doing a lot of apologizing this cast. I really... I don't want to be spending my whole time apologizing, but I guess, another thing I wanted to talk about was there's going to be questions of, like, pay to win, right? Like, and I think that's always the way when it comes to expansions. People are going to be like, is this pay to win? Is that really it? I feel like that it doesn't... I don't know if you can really use that argument here, and maybe this is a bit of, like, hope from me, but when I think of pay to win, I think of, like, actively paying for increased power. So if I was going to say, like, if I'm playing an MMO and I'm paying for gold, and then that gold is buying an item that's increasing my power level, then that's obviously pay to win. Whereas something like this, where you're getting extra content, additional content, that's... I wouldn't say it's necessarily... I don't want to say it's available to everyone, because obviously it's a very fine line, and I appreciate that there's arguments on both sides for it. But I guess there's a part of me that doesn't really see it as pay to win, because it's content and it's meant to be available to everybody. But then I guess the same argument could be made that, like, in WoW, like, you can buy a gold token that's available to everybody. So is that pay to win? It's like, well, not really. Sorry, not really. Well, like, obviously, yes, it is pay to win. But then I guess the next point is that, like, it's content versus just not serving the purpose of pay to win, right? Like, if it served the purpose of just pay to win, then I could understand. But it seems to serve an alternative purpose, and that is that it's content. So I think a lot of people will be watching this video and maybe throwing up the decision as to whether they should be purchasing the premium Age of Mythology Retold pack, because there are 2 packs. There's obviously the standard edition, and then there's the premium one. The premium gives you access to Freyr as a DLC, day 1 DLC bonus. but it also gives you access to the next 2 expansion packs. So the first one's already been confirmed. It's going to be the Chinese. They're going to be reworking the Chinese completely. In the original Age of Mythology games, there was not a lot of hype around the Chinese. People did not like them at all. And the developers have basically just said, look, we're going to completely redo the Civ. We're going to fix it from ground zero. So that's going to be an expansion of that. That's actually slated for later this year. So in the next, 3 months, we're going to be seeing it, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. But then on top of that, we're also going to have, in 2025, another expansion. We don't know what Civ it's going to be. I would suspect it might be a South American, like maybe the Incans or the Aztecs. It could also be an African direction. There's lots of options, but Fitzborough now going to be coming in with a big push. Heroic Age has been reached by Joey. We see that. And he's going to pop. Have a look at this. Chaos comes down on top of all the battering rams. Or the portable rams, rather. They do quite a bit of damage to each other because they've got a lot of crush damage, whereas they don't have a whole lot of crush armor. Double Satyr now going to be coming out. Chiroballista on the backside. Plenty of units. Fitzborough now reaching the Heroic Age as well. So many Chiroballista towards his top side. And we now start to see that's going to be the unique bonus. That's Tempest coming in. At the same time, we see the Asgardian Hill Fort gets placed down inside the base. Tempest on top of all the Chiroballista. They're all freezing. That's not my... It looks like my frame rate is dropping, but it's not. Actually, it is. We're at 30 FPS for some reason. Apparently, this also drops your FPS. Maybe that's how they make it so slow. Why is it going so slow? That's kind of wild, wasn't it? I wasn't sure if it was the game going slow or if I was losing FPS. But I definitely seem to be losing FPS. Wow, that's kind of wild. And my game time's actually slowing down as well. All right. It looks like we're good. It looks like we're out of the storm. Jeez. It literally breaks time. Like, it slows time down. Like, the gravity is so great from those ice shards falling down on the Chiroballista. So, we now have the next mythic unit coming through. It's going to be the Rock Giant. Looking to hit the enemy town center. This guy's an absolute beast here. Rock Giant, huge resists on him. Massive siege damage. And of course, he has a taunt. Let's see it, Rock Giant. Show me your taunt. Cast your taunt. I'm just going to take a quick sip of my my drink. Give me a sec here. Oh my god, don't taunt when I'm drinking. Come on, Rock Giant. You can't be doing that. So he's got access to a unique ability that taunts enemy units and forces them to attack him. Second Rock Giant now arriving as well. These guys do have some pretty cool unique abilities as well. We do see... Gulumbursty was casted somewhere? Where's Gulumbursty? Gulumbursty, where are you, my friend? There he is! Gulumbursty! You can see how slow he's getting, though. Poor Gulumbursty. So the further you get from the town center, the slower you get. So the move for Fitz here could have been to have just built this town center and then cast Gulumbursty at it. Gulumbursty going to be helping out with the siege of the Kronos base. And Fitzborough just walking over Joey at the moment. Joey trying his best to keep it together. Vilcount still looking relatively healthy for Joey, but has never been able to catch up on the military front. Destroy is now going to start coming out. We start to see some palaces coming online for Joey. Looking to try and break the map apart. Moving to the south, moving to the north as well. We'll take a look on board with him and see how he's doing. So he does have a number of outposts. South. Double palace up on the north as well. But Fitzborough quite strong at this type, or at this point in the game. Could look to be going into the Mythic Age. Keep in mind that you already have the Asgardian Hill Fort, so there's nothing holding you back from just going to the Mythic Age other than your resources. And he's got plenty of res in the bag. He's just going straight to Mythic. So it's not Granite Mew, it's Vidar. So going up with Vidar, which is going to give him access to the Fafnir, also going to be giving him access to the new God Power, which is pretty crazy. It does a lot of damage. Fitz now going to be looking to clean up on the south side. Plenty of portable rams in here, as well as these rock giants to attract any enemy units. Destroyer on the top side. Gulumbursty no longer seen anywhere. Of course, he's got a bit of a timer on him, unfortunately. So he can't be out there forever. Berserk's coming for Fitz. Did he just convert some Vils? Or did he actually train those? I don't know. Because he can just convert the Vils over. Nice little raid. Alright, Fitz on the north side of the map. So upgrade coming through. Granite Moor. Aegir upgrades rock giants to that thing, whose insatiable hunger allows them to regenerate when attacking enemy buildings and deal more damage. So it's an extra 20% damage. But the big thing is regen. They get to regen. There we go. There's the Fafnir. It comes out gold, then starts spewing fire everywhere. Keep in mind, he does now have access to Inferno, so we'll be keeping an eye out for that one throughout this game, making sure that we pay attention to wherever he may drop it down. But I see a couple of good spots over here. Let's see how he goes. He's moving forward with the Fafnir, and there's the palace. He could just look to drop the... There it comes. Here it comes. Big damage. He's looking for it. Trying to get the palaces out of here. I don't actually know if he got the palaces out, but you could see the amount of damage that was done there. Cleans up both of those palaces. Did it get out? I don't know if it gets out. I don't think it does. I think it just dies. And Fitzbro just cleaning out right now. Demonstrating and making Freyr look very pay to win in this game. But I think it just came down to Joey not scouting the amount of units that Fitz had. Joey definitely had units out early, and he could have done some damage with them, but we just didn't really see a lot of proactivity out of them. He was, you know, hovering around that hill fort, but didn't commit to anything. Chaos is going to come through. It's going to be down the bottom once again. You can see the portable rams. Chaos not affecting the rock giants by the looks of it. Portable rams all managing to survive and now chasing around these villas. You can see that this game is well and but truly over. It's just going to be Fitz cleaning up more than double the score. So, yeah, I think we can now talk a little bit about this as the game gets called. We can take a look at the post-game, but I think what's going to be more relevant is just taking a look here at... I can't stop thinking of Gulumbursty, man. I love him. I love big Gulumbursty. So let's take a look at some of their technologies that they've got available, because one of the things that we haven't really looked at are the techs. Obviously, we see the myth units, we see the god powers, but we don't really see the techs. So the first one is going to be Freyr's gift. So it looks incredibly expensive, okay? 800 food, 150 favor, 20 seconds to research, 25% hit points to heroes, 25% hit points to human soldiers. That's a huge amount. But where this tech is different is that every technology that you research reduces the cost of this. So this upgrade's favor cost reduces with each technology researched. So you can see a little bit of synergy there with regard to the civilized or the god bonus. So the technologies are cheaper. So the more techs you research, the more you're going to be reducing that cost down. Now, remember that you also pay 50% less food for this technology. So it's going to be 400 food, 150 favor. And it comes down really, really quickly. This is important to note. So throughout the game, like all your eco techs are going to be reducing this. Your armory techs are going to be reducing it. The upgrades that you get on your units are all going to be reducing this. So it does come down to a very affordable level. Normally about like the 15-minute mark, 20-minute mark, it becomes quite reasonable to get. All right, so the next unique things that we're going to be looking at are the upgrades for Lear. So we've got the standard upgrade, which upgrades your Draugr to Revenant Draugr. So that increases their range. It also increases their damage and adds a little bit of an extra line of sight. So nothing too crazy from this upgrade. We've also got Servants of Glory, which improves the movement speed of Longhouse units and allows them to use a short burst of speed after standing idle. So 5% movement speed for everybody. Not too bad, nice and cheap. We've got Ring Oath, which we already talked about, which reduces the cost of Asgardian Bastion, which is your god power. So it starts off for free, then it goes to 100. I think the next one from there, I don't know how much it costs, I'll be honest. We can actually check. Did he finish this? He did finish this. That's finished. So does it just stay 40 for the whole game? That's kind of wild. So nice little tech there. And then we've got Yadalir, which gives you access to those portable rams. Then for Ager, we've got the Rock Giant, who can be upgraded with Granite Maw. And then we've also got Feast of Renown. Ager's boundless hospitality radiates from your town center and hill forts, enabling them to heal nearby units and trickle food into your stockpile. So this is quite interesting because obviously this works for town centers, it works for fortresses, but I think it also works for village centers as well. I'd have to double check that, but it's basically a lot of food that's coming in for free. There is a cap on it. Obviously, TC's fortresses have a cap, but villages centers, I think they've also got a cap. Then we've got 9 waves. So Aegir grants your... Excuse me, I'm just going to have to take a drink here. Excuse me. Aegir grants your heroes and siege weapons the crushing might of the ocean, making them inflict more damage and move speed. Rather, and move faster. So now we've got another movement speed. Obviously, this is just for the siege weapons and just for the units on the ocean. Actually, is it? No, it's just for your siege weapons. But I did know that it says hero speed plus 10. Oh yeah, it grants your heroes and siege weapons. So you've got double bonuses coming through. Oh, this one isn't for. This is just for longhouse units. Okay, never mind. Okay, so you've just got the 10% speed for the heroes. Then we've got Grasp of Ra. Aegir's Wrath occasionally summons krakens near enemy ships that your dragon ships are attacking, which seems crazy. So basically the way this works is once you've done 400 damage with a dragon ship, you will spawn a kraken. That's the way that it works. All right, next up we've got Vidar with Inferno. The Fafnir, we've seen it before. Cursed but devastatingly powerful wingless dragon that engulfs enemies with fire and poison. Grants gold to its slayer. Exceptional against human soldiers and buildings. Then we've got Twilight of the Gods, which we can't actually see the bottom of. Is there any way that we can see that? I'm going to try. Nope. Vidar's destiny to survive Ragnarok grants your human soldiers more hit points and enables them to inflict extra damage to heroes. So you get 10% more hit point and adds a 0.2 to all damage bonus against heroes. I'm going to assume that says. Then we've got Avenging Spirit. Vidar's spirit causes your Herses hammer to grow mightier with each strike, increasing in size and damage as they fight. So Herses gain 20% damage after inflicting 50 total damage. I wish we could read what the rest of it says, but unfortunately we can't. Actually, is there a way that we can go over here? Yes, we can. So after 50 damage, they get 20%. After 150 damage, they get 40%. And after 300 damage, they get 60 damage. You can see the synergies between Avenging Spirit together with Freyr's Gift. If you've got more health, you're staying alive for longer. If you're staying alive for longer, you're doing more damage. And if you're doing more damage, you're killing more dudes, which means you're staying alive for longer. So this is a really nice synergy that goes here. And it means that you can have some crazy Hersiers. And we've also got Silent Resolve. Vidar's stoic silence inspires your berserks to gather strength when idle, slowly increasing their damage when they are still. Heavy berserk enables idle damage bonus action. So when they're standing still, they get a little bit more damage. There you go. Seems a bit weird. And then Fury of the Fallen. This one's kind of crazy. Vidar grants... Excuse me. I don't think I'm going to be making another video. I'm coughing up too much. This will probably be the only video I'll make until I get a little bit better. So I apologize. The last apology. Vidar grants berserks a temporary damage boost whenever one of your military units falls in battle nearby. So increases the berserk damage by 15% briefly, and it stacks. That's kind of wild, isn't it? Like when you think about the fact that you've got 25% health here, you've got movement speed. Actually, this is movement speed to heroes, and this is movement speed to longhouse units, so we're not buffing berserks in either of those. Does give them the idle damage bonus, which is kind of lol, and then Fury of the Fallen. We'll have to see how it goes, but that's gonna be a roundup. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed this video. Once again, I know I'm sick. I'm sorry, and I guess it wasn't the last apology, was it? And look, we'll hopefully catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for sticking around to the end. Bye.